10. Know Yahuwah, for they all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest, says Yahuwah. For I will forgive their iniquities, and their sins I will remember no more. He said he will forgive their iniquities. He will forgive their sins. Their sins he will remember no more. But why we want passing them to lay hands? The text says no more will a man need for somebody else to teach him. Talking about know the Most High? No. I know him for myself. He gets me up every morning and give me something to go to carry out my day with. Not no other man. And the Most High told me one time, family, he said, you got to choose between me and your mama, who's going to be your Elohim, or God back then. Who's going to be your God, your mama or me? He said, you can't have both. I jumped on the phone right then and there and said, Mama, we're going to have to separate a bit. We can't be talking about the things of the Most High is too tough no more. So he told me I was making you my God. She said, well, I don't want that. I said, me either. And it was a hard thing, but it's something we all have to face. We gotta cut people off. And yes, the Most High get us to a point, especially when we're babes in him, to where we need that care, that love, that guidance. But still, even in that, he's the one that's doing it. He's providing the teachers. He's providing the leaders. He's providing the brothers and sisters to be there for you. But do know it's not a need. He's the source. And we see there in 2 Timothy 3:1-6. Perilous times and perilous men. But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come. For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, thankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Yahuwah, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. And from such people turn away. For of this sort are those who creep into houses or households and make captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts. Loaded down with sins and led away. That means they can shoot them the okie-doke anytime they want. And one text, this may be in it, where they say they're deceived by their own lies. They start believing their own lies. But you know who this sword is, don't you? Them lying, pussyfooting, pacifying pastors and bishops and teachers. And what this text here, I thought about that when I was reading the Most High, put that on my heart. Right in the beginning of this prosperity teaching ministry, one of the old faith teachers was telling some of the people that was under him, who called him their spiritual father, who called him their spiritual father. And he told them, don't get involved in that. Don't do it. But them boys were hard-headed anyway, and you know them all. I'm not gonna call no names today. But he told them, don't get involved in that. And I had the tape where he was warning them, where he was talking to them, two of the major ones. One of them listened. I think it was his son that listened, but the other two didn't. And all three of them were approached. And he told them, don't get involved with that. Next thing you know, one of them going off to see the Pope. And this was the time where he was getting all the religions together. And this fool went. 9 times out of 10, you already know who I'm talking about. If you used to be involved in that like I was. I was heavily involved. I done sent them jokers well over $1 million. I'm sure more than that. But they was hard headed too. Their leaders, their parents. They call them their spiritual leaders. Not that I believe in that, but that's who they had overseeing them. That's who they sat under. He said, don't get involved with that, buddy. And we see them now where they at on TikTok. How far have the great fallen, the so-called great fallen, from these huge ministries? Now he's joking on TikTok. Yeah, that's the place to be. And it's the best place to be, but at the same time, for this joker, from where he was at, flying these big jets, talking about nothing missing, nothing broken. Okay, buddy. Then we see that in 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. They don't want to hear it, Robert. But according to their own desires, that lust, they gullible, full of sin, and led away by various lusts. And he just told Timothy that in the prior verse. Yeah, that's 2 Timothy 3:1-6. And now we're in 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires. According to what, Robert? Their own desires. The text just said they love their own desires more than the Most High. Pleasure more than the Most High. Lovers of themselves. Because they have itching ears. They want somebody to tickle that little lobe right there with something sweet. Talking about, tell me something good. Tell me that you love me, yeah. No, he don't. He love you, but he don't love your ways. And he's about to show you. They will heap up for themselves teachers, and they will turn their ears away from the truth. No, Robert, I don't want to hear nothing about no rules. I'm tired of telling you. We don't want nobody rules. We want to do as we wilt. That's the whole of the law. Do whatever you will and then come back on church on Sunday morning, have old pastor smack me across the head with that holy oil and say, you forgiven, child, I forgive you. Give you a Hail Mary, a cross or two, till you go on out and do it again next week. Just bring them tithes and offerings, we good. And they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables. So as we were saying before, family, they taking other folks' word for it. They like, if it was good enough for mama and them, it's good enough for me. Just like the text speaking on them gullible women. Yeah, gullible men too. We've all been hard-headed. I'm not saying I'm no different, but I came up out of it. I learned my lesson, said, okay, Pop, I learned my lesson. I want to do righteous now. I want to be a part of your righteous kingdom. What can I do to expedite your kingdom on this earth? What's my part? And every single day I source it. Every single day I source it. I don't take people's word for it no more. I don't take folks' word for it. No. I was in Christianity, I know, pretty much 40 years, I know 40 years. But that's not saying I was in relationship for 40 years with the Most High. No. Once I found him, really got a hold of him. And I always knew him, family, but what was going on was I was hard headed.